This is the Galaxy Report for Saturday, August 12th, 2006.
I'm awake. Oh, yeah. Don't be afraid. I only want your blood. Let me taste your neck.
Welcome to the Galaxy Report. I'm Freakasaka. My co-host this week are Flipside. Flip, what's up?
Hey, not too much. How about you?
No, doing good. And Dar Sushi's joining us this week. Sushi, how's it going?
Good. Glad to be here.
It's always good to have you, especially when we're going to talk officer stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to go quickly over what we have to expect this week. We're going to start off with what you've been doing in-game. Then we're going to go through the updates and the coming changes to SWG, talk about some news and rumors, and then we'll go over some miscellaneous SWG stuff, Friday feature, all that good stuff. So, Sushi, let's start with you. What you been doing in-game this week?
Let's see. I earlier was doing some of the Corellia part of the Legacy quest. I did a city takeover on one of my alts. I was pretty happy about that.
Someone's not going to be happy about that.
It was successful because they're not playing the game anymore, I guess. I don't know. Did a Death Watch run this morning and Mando Bicep. And
Yes.
and then screwing around on Test Center with some of the new stuff that's come out.
Cool. Flip, what you been playing or doing?
Well, I hated it for a while, and then I decided after I aced it, I've been putting almost all my time back into re-acing, trying to ace another pilot profession. I've been putting all my time in there.
That's all? It's kind of boring.
Yeah, it is boring. Yeah.
I haven't had much chance to play this week, but I got in towards the end of the week and found out that I hadn't put enough maintenance in my harvesters in my crafter alt, and 6 of my heavy harvesters kind of went poof on me.
Did you lose anything in the hoppers?
Not much. Those are the ones I had the issue where I think stuff disappeared out of them, but I couldn't get it to recreate. I'd put a bunch of maintenance in, power, and let them go for like 4 days. I came back 4 days later, all the power was gone, and all of them had about 425 resources in them. So I tried to recreate it. I'd let Rogue 5 know, like, hey, I think this happened. I don't know. I'm going to try to recreate it. Haven't been able to recreate it, but they're gone. So now we may never know. But after that, I logged into Freak, and I played around a little bit with him, and worked on some of the legacy quests, trying to get Corellia done so I can get to Talos, and I'm hoping by chapter 3 that I actually get caught up.
I'm trying to get caught up.
But where are you right now?
The part where I just got done checking all the boxes, and then I have to go meet some informant.
Well,
so I don't know where that is.
What planet are you on?
Oh, I'm the Corellia one, the Corellian captives.
Okay.
Yeah, in Coronet.
I kind of feel a little nerdy because I got my alt already on Corellia.
Yeah, you suck.
I guess you could also add that I did that also this week. I was doing my alt with the Legacy.
I just got done with the part where you have to go to the Rogue Core Sec base on Corellia.
Oh, gee, I haven't got there yet. Don't ruin it for me.
Yeah, more of the same.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see what we have first up. Let's jump into updates and changes. We'll start with Chapter 2.2 we got this week. I'm going to go through these real quick because, we have a ton of stuff between what went live with 2.2 and what we have coming up with what's on Test Center. What was it? Thursday got like a really big publish. It's almost like a publish from a year ago is what they pushed out onto Test Center.
Yeah.
But I'm going to kind of go through here and see what I have, and if you guys have anything, feel free to jump in. One of the things I know is combat pets and vehicles will automatically store themselves if they become disabled in combat. Vehicle store immediately, pets will store after 2 minutes. People were complaining a lot about that, so it's good to see that put in there, kind of cleans things up and hopefully deals with some lag issues. Because we had a question, someone wanted to know if SOE plans on upgrading their service to fix the lag problem. They said it's a major problem. It's not all client side. I don't know what's going on. I don't know if it's like your graphics card or if it's my graphics card. It's hard to tell. Like Restus was lag where I was moving around and nobody else was. And when things are like really choppy, I think that's like frame rate issues that may have to do with your computer. And trust me, I run into it all the time, so I don't know for sure. Some people have those issues. What about you guys? Do you guys have lag issues?
Yeah, not so much now as I did, about a year and a half ago. The game, and I got the same hardware, so I haven't upgraded my hardware, but the lag's gotten better for me. I don't know. So
okay.
Yeah, I'm not really too sure about lag issues. My only thought on lag, and I was up in space, and I didn't know if you could have lag or not. But it seems like I'm hitting the AI up there in space, and no damage is occurring. And I'm hitting it over and over. Maybe I'm missing it. Maybe I'm slightly damaging it, but it's not showing up on the my radar or whatever. And I'll hit it for the 15th time, and finally it's 50% lower than it was before. And I don't know if it's
Are you aiming at the vehicle, or are you aiming at like
actually there's a point where I disabled it, and I was not getting any damage, and I was like not even 50 meters from it, just shooting it. And then next thing you know, it blows up. So I don't know if I'm seeing the damage actually happen on my side, and it's really happening, or what.
That's odd.
So, yeah.
Okay, let's see what else we have. Galactic Civil War. To find out when the next reward phase for the Galactic Civil War base will happen, check with the logistics officers. First with them, they'll have a dialogue option to find out when the next shipment of supplies will be arriving. That kind of takes some of the guesswork out of how long do I have to keep this base before I get such and such a bonus.
Yeah, that's cool.
It's a nice little thing to throw out there. Profession Bounty Hunter. The RazorNet special ability will no longer automatically restart itself at its maximum duration each time a bleed dot is applied. And I think I noticed this like when I first started after the expertise went live. I seem to be able to root stuff in place for really long amounts of time. At one point I had 3 Night Sisters coming at me, and I had them rooted, and it seemed like I could kill one and the other ones were still rooted. So I don't know if I was running into that, but it was nice while it lasted.
Yeah.
Let's see. Jedi, they just fixed the military pain numbing powder. A combat buff should be properly applied with your character attributes while your robes are equipped. That has to make Jedi happy.
I guess.
Yeah. I wouldn't know because I've never even tried to use that.
It's all about making Jedi happy. Gendra Speeder. Gendra will no longer be duped into providing players with unlimited speeders.
I actually talked to somebody that was doing that and was like, "Hey, you want a speeder?" And they were telling me all about how they're doing this. I don't know who this person was trying to sell me a speeder, and I was like, "I don't need anything."
You should have told them to F themselves and get them from traders.
Well, I can make my own swoop, so I don't need any of theirs. And I was like, I don't know, why would anybody want that? What is the X34 or whatever?
Yeah,
is that the one?
I don't even know. I can't remember. I probably have it, but. Let's see. Then they tweaked some more legacy quest things. They're, constantly going through, fixing this, fixing that. That's why it's important to bug stuff, and, they get in there and fix the stuff up. Rage of the Wookiees, destroy the crazy Wookiees. Sierra Jossie's quest has a new description in the quest journal that should better explain which rabid Wookiees you should be attempting to kill to complete the quest. I think it should be any Wookiee, but personally, that's just me.
Yeah.
Let's see, space. Hyperspace points now match their descriptions. And Trials of Obi-Wan, Luciferian weapons should properly display their weapon stats.
Yep, and I had a problem with that. And I didn't even know there was a problem with those. I was looking at the Mustafarian rifle that you could make in the cube, and it didn't have any stats. I knew it was doing damage, though, but that would be great to have all those weapons.
I use a cube disruptor rifle, and I never noticed any problem, but it could just be because I don't look at it that often. That's my main gun. I've been using it for, 4 or 5 months.
I use it for my medic. It's a nice gun. And the only time you're going to ever see any problem with it, which there really isn't, is just when you examine it. You're just going to notice that it has this. The only stats it really has is the level that you have to equip it, the name of it. It's just not going to show you any min or max damage.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I went and checked whenever it was that they changed up the DPS, whenever that was, what was that, Chapter 1? I don't know.
One of those
They did
chapters.
Recently, sometime in the last couple of months, they did something that changed up all the DPS, and I remember looked fine then. Oh well.
I don't know.
Yay for fixing it.
Anything else you guys find in this this chapter published, whatever you want to call it, that kind of sticks out in your mind that people might find interesting?
Not really.
Not particularly.
Okay, cool. Then we'll move on to the auto aim and camera changes on Test Center.
Hell yeah.
Well, you sound excited. Let's let you talk about that. What do you think? Have you had a chance to test it?
Yeah. I think it's pretty cool. I mean, folks were putting the double click back in, so it'll start up on when you double click your target, it'll start your auto attack and auto aim if you have that toggle set. That's great. Camera changes. When I first was demoed the NGE, the first thing, of course, I noticed was this over-shoulder camera view, which I sort of didn't like when I first saw, but I thought it was interesting. I'd never seen that before. Evidently, there was, I guess, one of the Resident Evil games or something has that.
Yeah.
And there's a couple other games out there that have that. Maybe console games or whatever, but I hadn't actually seen it before. Since I've been playing the NGE for the last 9 months, it's kind of grown on me. So, I mean, it's great that if you want to recenter the camera that you have that toggle. I think that, it shows that they're listening to feedback or whatever. I think I'm probably going to keep the over-the-shoulder view because I've gotten so used to it.
Well, the thing I noticed about that is it made sense with the NGE old style of combat, like the manual aim, because it'd be kind of hard, like, if you were trying to target something through yourself. So they had to kind of like offset it. So like any typical third-person shooter, it's going to be, slightly over the shoulder, so you can keep on your target instead of like clicking on yourself. But it doesn't surprise me that they threw it back. Here's auto aim. Oh, we might as well, switch the camera back, make people happy.
Yeah, I don't remember hearing a whole lot of angst recently about the offset camera view, but yeah, I guess, this pleases a lot of people, and so, yay.
Well, and not if it made a whole lot of impact, but actually when setting stuff up in your house, it actually helps out a little bit having your character offset a little bit. When you're getting close to certain items, I actually liked it for that reason.
How do you guys think that the auto aim automatically being on is going to affect macroing? Do you think is it going to increase the people of like AFK macro grinding, just like killing a bunch of stuff and looting, kind of like what we had before?
Yeah, customer service is sort of ramping up on getting rid of AFK combat players. It's been a topic of discussion in the Senate because they keep changing the knowledge base article on their AFK policy, and so there's the question is, why is it bad to AFK combat and it's okay to AFK grind an entertainer? So what's the difference? Who is it impacting? Who cares? Why? What you going to be consistent? What's the policy? All that stuff. So yeah, whatever makes auto aim is back, auto attack is back. You still have to double click on the target to initiate the auto attack though. So to the extent that that's going to still be some kind of cycle target outward attack macro.
There's going to be one.
Of course there will.
Give it 2 weeks.
Yeah, but evidently CS is getting draconian with the kicking the people that are doing that kind of stuff. So whatever. If you're disrupting gameplay for somebody else, or if you're loot camping, some spawn or something like that, and you're being disruptive or denying an at the keyboard player an opportunity, then absolutely they should be getting in there and eliminating that disruption. But they're going to have to come up with a consistent policy and make that very well publicized for quite a while.
Well, I'm thinking that might be part of the reason why there's a difference in the policy where if you leave an AFK entertainer alone, who's it really bothering? Whereas you have someone who has like a, AFK looting something constantly, say like in the Deathwatch bunker or whatever, it's interfering with people. People would do that with the Acklay, to get the Acklay armor quest. I guess if like you're just like AFK killing meat lumps outside of Coronet.
I used to run an AFK macro in the alley behind the Mos Eisley Cantina, killing the thug spawn right back behind there. And whatever. I didn't really particularly think that was hurting anybody. But the argument against the why is it, it should be okay for, entertainers to run AFK macros, and it's not okay for people to be doing it in a Deathwatch bunker. The argument that's been articulated to me is that for the entertainer in their world, the cantina is their Deathwatch bunker. So if somebody's in there AFK spamming up the place saying, tip me, all that other stuff, it's an annoyance and it's screwing up the experience for somebody who's actually sitting there at the keyboard trying to play the game.
Right. And I guess if they go crazy with the macros running saying tip me, but it's kind of hard to expect someone to just sit there, like especially with the current state of entertainers, to actually want to be at the keyboard doing anything. But
I agree.
One of the things that I do is when I go into a cantina, if I see an entertainer dancing, even if I don't have cloning sickness, I'll be like, hey, are you at the keyboard? If they talk to me and they say yes, I'll tip them like $50,000 just for being, at the keyboard.
Yeah, just for being there.
Yeah.
I grinded through Master Dancer probably at least 3 different times AFK while I was, fire it off in the morning and then go to work, come home 10 hours later and, go back and level up. So, that was especially great when they were giving away all the respecs back in, during the combat upgrade, because grinding the Master Dancer and then respecking is something else. So, I've used it too. But, and realistically, you shouldn't be able to do that,
Right.
You shouldn't be able to AFK grind anything, I don't think. If they're going to go that route, they should do it like it is in EVE, where in EVE you level up when you're not even in the game. You just program what skill you want to earn next, and it's based on time. So if you're at whatever level 3 and you want to go to whatever level 4, it says it'll take 3 days, and you can not even log in for 3 days. When you log in, 4 days later, you've got level 4 now.
Nice.
If there has to be a time sink involved, I mean, if there has to be some kind of compelling reason why you can't start the game as a master, or start the game with the equivalent of your 250 points in the old system and then just allocate them during character generation. If there has to be some kind of time element to grinding your way through that profession, then yeah, you should actually have to play it and not be able to shortcut or cheat your way through it.
Yeah, we'll see what they do. Maybe once they give entertainers something to do, it'll be interesting. Well, right now they should be image designing everybody, because everybody seems to hate the way they look. So,
yeah.
Well, I'll take a quick poll, you guys. Flip, do you use the auto aim?
No, I don't. I just shoot my own. I don't choose to do that.
What about you, Sushi?
I don't. I thought that I would. I thought that when they announced it that I would set that up and at the very least use the auto aim during PvE always, and then switch over to using manual targeting in PvP. But I just haven't been able to get myself back into the auto aim groove.
I switched over right away.
How do you like that? Oh, you play Commando?
Bounty Hunter.
Bounty Hunter. How do you like it?
Well, here's what I do with it. I have it set, so I talked about it last week, where it's one of my mouse buttons, my right mouse button, and then I just click on that. It pulls up my radial menu, and I just click attack. I use that for higher level stuff when I know I'm going to want to be running around, setting traps, trying to get stuff, like if I'm out on a level 90 bounty mission, and I know it's going to take a little bit of moving around to kill something. Of course, right now with the expertise system, even a level 90 is pretty easy to take out. But if I feel like I'm going to be running, moving, then I switch it on. If I'm doing the legacy quest, I don't even bother. I just attack and shoot right through the stuff.
That's what it goes, because basically the bulk of my gameplay over the last, I haven't been playing that much, and when I do play, I've been doing the legacy quest from zero. So, that's mostly one-shot kill crap, so I haven't needed really to go through the hassle of configuring that. And I suppose eventually I will actually dedicate some time to sitting down and finding what combination of key mapping actually works the best for me. But for right now, I've been perfectly happy.
It almost seems like you shouldn't put too much into key mapping right now, because you don't know what else they're going to change.
Well, yeah, that's the thing.
Let's see what else we have. Resizable radar. This is another thing.
One second. Just one little small note, though. They posted SWG Tunsuno posted actually an original poster made a comment about not auto aiming gives you critical hit bonuses, and SWG Tunso applied to that, replied and said yes, that actually does work. If you don't auto aim and you use just regular aiming, you will be getting critical hits the more often that you hit just regular aiming.
Yeah, that's an incentive to keep using manual aiming too, which I don't have a problem with. I guess there are some whiners out there saying, "Oh, you finally got us targeting back, and now you want to screw us out of some bonus." Well, whatever.
Yeah,
well, it makes up for the misses that you're going to occur when you don't have auto aim on.
Yeah, exactly.
I've noticed a difference, like when, like I've switched back and forth. I've done both of them, and there is a noticeable difference in the amount of crits you get when you're using the manual aim.
And they say, like, and it probably would work maybe best in PvP, but, like, for instance, if you've got one guy that's got auto aim on you and he's attacking you and you're not auto aiming, what they said is that if the fights tend to last longer, you're going to have more criticals. The guy that's got auto aim on you and you're doing regular aiming, he's going to be having a lot of criticals over you, and he's probably going to win.
Well, it strings it together too. So like the more times you hit manually in a row, it like increases the chance for the crit to go off. And if you miss, then it breaks that string and kind of starts over. But the more you hit consistently, the more crits you'll see flying up. And I've seen it where I was taking stuff out lower level than me, and I was probably seeing like every 3 hits I was getting a crit at one point. So.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I mean, that's, a concept of balance and, tactical decision making that, you can make as a player. If you want to go for the extra crits, you get to work for it. If you want to, be a button masher, running your macros, then, well, there's a trade-off.
Right. You can't have both.
Yeah. And I have no problem with that. Philosophically, in terms of game design, that works for me. So
it makes it a nice balance. So
yeah,
resizable radar. A lot of people unhappy with the UI, the way the UI works. One of the things they complain about is the resizable radar. That it's they don't like the way it is right now, and it looks like we're going to get some options to that. The way they're kind of talking about it, I don't know if we're going to get it where you can make it any size, but it looks like they're talking about maybe a small, medium, and large, just so it can continue with the artwork, instead of trying to like resize for like the different styles of artwork. I don't know how hard that is, but
I don't know. I think that's a flawed premise to begin with. I mean, I think if there are art assets that are making the interface difficult to use, the art assets should be removed.
Yeah,
that's what I have to say about that. I mean, I think every element of my screen should be movable and resizable. I should be able to put it wherever on the screen I want and whatever dimensions I want,
My buddy was showing me his World of Warcraft account and just the different things you can do with the UI, and you can make it look completely different from what is custom. And, they allow the mods, they allow things to go on. And I saw that, and like before I never had like it's like, whatever, I really don't pay much attention to the interface anyways. But to see the things that he could do with his UI and like the different mods he could add on to like put health in this area or change the way the health bar is, and he could put it like so it was kind of like in the center of his screen, kind of like faded a little, but you could see exactly like, it just made me wish that you could do something like that in SWG.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Flip, what would be your preference for the radar?
Well, I see whenever somebody posts on the forums, a lot of times you'll see that the UI that they post is not even the UI that's out there right now. It's always a modded UI, and a lot of people say, devs, are you guys even looking at any of these images? Because they're not even of the UI that you want us to have. I really like the old style.
Well, you know what I don't understand is why they changed up the like the members of your party. It looks like they went back to having like the old style UI a little bit, like around your party members. And it
pretty close.
It doesn't seem like it fits in with the way the current one looks, and it makes me want the old one back. And when the combat upgrade first hit, I really dug the new icons, but now I kind of miss like the simplicity of the older icons.
Oh, the pre-CU icons?
Yeah,
I really like those. That was one of the things I hated about the combat upgrade was the new comic booky icons.
Yeah.
I've gotten used to them, I suppose, over the last year and a half, or whatever, how long that's been, but man, I hated that. Mostly because I'm colorblind, and it's really hard to see. The old ones that were just the little 2-color icons were very simplistic. I really liked those.
And that's why I really liked it once when the CU hit. I liked the new icons, but the more I was around them, the more I wanted just the simplicity of the old UI, just like the basic two-tone colors everywhere. It just made everything look a lot smoother.
I just don't understand why they're so hard on not wanting us to have a UI that we really like. I mean, they just are like trying to keep it from us, like we're in prison, we can't get out.
It would be nice to know if the problem is if they allowed that, if it was somehow going to affect the actual gameplay. Maybe there's something client side that will somehow be affected. I don't know, but it would be nice if they just came out and told us why they are so against us modding the UI. Maybe we can get that out of them.
They're good at not letting us know a lot of things.
Yeah, they got that nailed down.
Someone needs to ask Hans.
I'll say, speaking of UI things that pissed me off, one thing that did get fixed, and I think it was a stealth fix because I didn't see a note about it, was that the waypoint monitor doesn't creep up off the top of your screen anymore.
That's not happening again, or anymore?
No, and I don't know whether that was fixed this week or it was the patch before, but all of a sudden that stopped happening, and I don't have to reset my waypoint monitor every time I log into the game.
That's pretty cool. I
didn't see a note on that, but I did notice it, and I was like, okay, well, good. So they're paying attention to the UI, at least. But I like being able to stretch my handbars. I like being able to, put it anywhere I wanted. I like, I had I went through this whole, iteration of customizing the placement of the stuff that I had, during the CU, and, the new one is kind of rigid, and I don't like the style either. That theme that they've gone with the borders for stuff in the new UI, I just really don't care for.
The one thing I wish we could get rid of, and I don't want to turn this into a whole UI show, but
okay.
like when they bring back the double toolbars, I want to have the option to get rid of the box that shows you which one is the current special you have loaded up. Like
which one's queued?
Yeah, especially if you have like auto aim.
Yeah.
Well,
see, that was cool back when you couldn't fire specials from the toolbar. You remember when it first came out, you could you pressed the toolbar button to activate it, and that queued it up, but then you had to right click in order to fire it.
Right.
And then it was almost immediately after that they patched it so you could fire them from the toolbar, and that makes that that 13th button out there on the right side kind of irrelevant now.
Yeah, I want that to go away. Okay, enough about UI. We're moving on.
All right.
Test Center update notes for August 10th. There's just a ton of stuff here, so I highlighted some of the things I want to talk about real quick. Battle of Restus, fewer troops should be appearing in Restus. That should make a lot of people happy.
Thank God.
And the die kits can be used to color Rebel and Imperial Crusader armor. That was a big thing people were upset about at first. It's like, oh yeah, you gave us a die kit and it wouldn't work. I guess now it works.
Okay.
Grenades should not be using the correct weapon range.
Well, it kept on changing back to the original color, or it wasn't changing it at all.
Really?
Something about the name of the. I don't want to screw it up or say something wrong, but it wasn't changing it wasn't changing the color.
Okay. Well, supposedly that's going to be fixed. Grenades should now be using the correct weapon range. I don't know why I thought that was important, but it seemed like a thing at the time. Damage over time in PvP combat should properly clear after a duel is over. The duel should be complete, and you should not be attackable by non-faction member after you clone. It's probably a good thing.
Sure.
The all-purpose lubricating spray buff now modifies both precision and strength, just as the description says.
Is that the one from the Legacy Quest?
I don't know.
Okay.
It just seemed kind of nice.
Body spray.
Yes. The ladies will be all over you. Using dot attack should now reward you with full experience point rewards.
Huh.
Visual effects for finishing moves will now be displayed. For example, finish off an enemy with Force Lightning will actually show Force Lightning.
What does that mean, finishing off? Are we talking about PvE here, or are we talking about, close combat death?
The only thing I could think of was like when I was going through the Legacy Quest as level 90, and I'm killing something that's like way below, like level 30. I go to do my lightning, like an example it used. It would just instantly show me killing him, and it wouldn't show my lightning because he was such a low level. Maybe that now it will show the lightning when it kills them anyways, even though...
Sure.
That's the only thing I could think of.
Okay.
Alright, static GCW bases, clone droids are now available at Rebel and Imperial camps. That should probably speed up PvP, not having to wait the cloning sickness out. Now they just need to they need to put cantinas there so entertainers will be hanging around and be dancing away.
That'd be cool
or bring
too.
back camps or something.
Yeah, camps, please.
What would an officer do with a camp anyways? We'll get into
watch
that
dancers.
later.
every 5 minutes, a new supply would spawn.
Of what?
Grenades. I don't know. Something useful.
You can no longer biolink weapons that aren't certified for you. I thought that this was fixed with...
I thought I'd already read that before.
Chapter 2 or whatever. The Mustafar throw pillow should be craftable. I thought I've read that before too.
They complain about that for the longest time.
I saw one that I thought was interesting there in that items list. The new lightweight military packs will have the correct stat modifiers.
Now, wasn't that the reward from theme parks?
Yeah, it's the schematics from theme parks, yeah.
Right.
So I'd be interested. I haven't seen one yet with the new correct stats, but I'd like to see what kind of stats they have on there, because, mine's got like camouflage and cover or crap like that. Stuff that's...
I wonder if ones that are in crates will convert when you pull them out.
We'll see.
Because, those theme parks have been around for so long, not a lot of people can do them anymore to get those, unless you have just the schematic floating around to make.
Well, yeah. They're probably going to allow you to redo the theme parks once they do the revamp on them.
That's what they said.
Well, I'm kind of hoping for new gifts if they do that.
Has anybody been to Jabba's with supposedly them revamping it with Chapter 2, or did that not go through?
Well, yeah, I have, but the inside's still the same. It's just the missions that have changed. And since I'd already done the theme park, I don't need to do the missions to get access. So I don't know.
Weird. All pets that are not mounts should be able to attack. That should make the people who yearn to have Creature Handler come back happy to know that wasn't stealth removed just because they wanted to get rid of them.
Yeah.
Clone droids will now be available in player cloning facilities. Player city cloning facilities, that's probably a good thing. Probably something that should have been from the beginning, but... the jukebox should correctly play the Imperial March. I found that very important and wondered why it wasn't working in the first place. The bounty hunter expertise, ability, shield, return fire, power, assisted sprint, and duelist stance are no longer restricted when using a heavy weapon. Add an additional 30 minutes to all inspiration buffs for entertainers.
That's good for them.
Give them a little something to do when they're not image designing people. Using Force Run will not be allowed when using Force Cloak.
I never tried that.
Jedi will not be happy, but if you respect to a trader profession, you will now be granted a crafting tool. That kind of threw me off when I first went to Crafter, and it's like, wait a second, what's going on? What am I supposed to craft with? I had to go find one.
Yeah.
Quest Hero of Tatooine, the Pirate and Wild Blade Back Boar can now be found on Tatooine again.
Thank God.
It's been a while. Long time in the making. A lot of tweaks to some different quests. Space, the Master Pilot missions to destroy the Krillin Corvette can now be completed only in the Kessel system. Wasn't that an issue for a while? Or, I don't know, it'd be nice to have Gyron here to tell me one way or the other.
I haven't got that far yet.
See, space stations can repair just a bunch of repair stuff. I don't know. That must have been an accidental highlight.
Well, that whole thing with the repairing stuff with no decay, I guess, was that a problem before? If you repaired it, it would decay?
Yeah, it would.
Not going to happen.
Decay is not actually supposed to be in the game anymore, right? So,
right. I was actually doing that recently. You'd use your kit and decay would occur to it.
I knew I highlighted that for a reason.
Yeah.
Players can no longer duel in space.
You would not believe how many people are so upset if that goes through.
There's some clarification on that too,
because they don't know if they mean actually dueling between the pilots of their ships or inside.
I can clarify that. I'm pretty sure I can speak to what I know on that, and that's what this is meant. What that was meant to prevent was like two folks on a yacht dueling in the yacht. That's what that was meant to remove. One pilot who wants to duel another pilot in another ship is supposed to be supported. Evidently that got removed, and that's what they want. they intend to restore that functionality.
Okay.
But people just dueling on board a YT-1300 or something.
Was it causing
That's what they meant to
issues?
remove. I don't know what the problem was. It's specified somewhere. I just don't remember what it was.
It'd be nice to know. And they probably should word that just a little bit better.
Well, yeah, that's the thing it's a problem with a lot of the patch notes is that there's some kind of program that spits out the patch notes in something that's close to like machine code or something like that. So then humans have to go through and translate the patch notes into English, and sometimes they get them wrong.
Okay.
That's what I've been told.
Lies, all lies.
Yeah.
Human error.
Character sheet, expertise, skill modifiers for Jedi and Bounty Hunters have been alphabetically ordered so you can easily read your character's attributes. Probably makes things a little bit easier. And all weapons that modify character stats will now make that ability value green on your character sheet, just making things easier. And inventory, the ability to sort your inventory has been added to the game.
Okay, what does that mean?
I don't know, but I hope it means like alphabetically or something, because I know how, like, if you have your inventory full, it's very easy to lose something in there. I mean, you can find it eventually, but it's just kind of hard sometimes. And do you guys have the thing where it like automatically like shuffles the stuff around in your inventory from time to time?
Yeah,
No.
I do. When you go to hit the change the view, it won't change view, but it will change it alphabetically for you, and it's not supposed to work like that. It's supposed to change view where you get the lines and it's in columns or rows or whatever, right? And then you can change it alphabetically, and then you change the view again, and then you have your inventory of icons again.
I just have mine randomly. Sometimes it's like the last thing in my, like in the bottom of my inventory will be something that I just looted, and then there's other times where that gets all jumbled up for no reason, and I don't know if it's something I'm doing wrong or...
I know that when I switch up stuff that I've got equipped, and then I travel, when you arrive at the other end, everything that you have equipped is at the top of the list, at the top of the pack. That's the only. I don't have a problem where I don't think I have a problem where it randomly reshuffles stuff in there. Maybe it does, and I just don't notice.
I wish to do something with the inventory and the junk dealers. That's something that bugged me this week. I went to a junk dealer, and it's like trying to like go through the junk dealer interface, and I like to be able to talk to the junk dealer, get a little icon that I can go over, like put in my inventory and click on the stuff I want to sell, and it'll like have the price right there. It'll like pop up a little window with the price when I go over the item. I know it's very WoW-esque, but I would.
Well, it doesn't really correctly between what it says in your inventory and what the junk dealer is telling you what the name of it is. Some of the items are actually named different.
Yeah, I noticed that too.
Yeah.
Oh, let's see. Planetary map, Entertainer, Artisan, Scout, Rebel, Imperial, and Bounty Hunter mission terminals can be displayed on the planetary map. Guess if you want,
handy.
Yeah, if you want to find where you're going. This one, instead of the Master Profession, instead of the title Master Profession, players will now have the title Profession for professions they no longer have. For instance, if a Master Officer changes professions, they will have the Officer title available, but not Master Officer. Was that really necessary?
I don't know.
That seems like something's like, I don't know, someone was bored.
I guess.
Yeah,
Like,
there are a number of things like that.
Maybe it was one of those.
Doing something today. Let me do this.
Sounds like one of those things that they were in there fixing something else and said, that's not supposed to do that.
Yeah.
I don't recall anybody asking for that fix, but whatever.
Did anybody ask for Mustafar?
No.
I don't know.
I think I wanted Hoth.
Rage of the Wookiees. Players should stop falling through many spots of Kashyyyk terrain.
Yeah, that's overdue by about a year.
Wow, it's something like if you would have beta tested it, maybe that wouldn't happen.
Yeah.
The mighty Sarlacc has been reported by local Tatooine authorities to be even more dangerous. Last time I went there, it just made me run slower.
Did it snare you?
Yeah.
I remember I used to go out there, like, I don't know, years ago, I don't know, and it just poisons you. Or it would.
Yeah,
But that's not a state anymore, is it?
No, when I first went out there, I was afraid. I was like, oh my god, is this going to be like the movie where the tongue or something's going to come out at you? and then after a while, so you get diseased. What? So who cares?
Well,
It'd be nice if you went out there and something actually did grab at you to try to bring you under.
Well, there's like the one mission where you have to go out there and you have to get like the Sarlacc whatever.
That's for the bug, that bug bomb.
Right. How are you supposed to go up to it without getting poisoned?
You get poisoned. There's no way around it.
You know, it'd be nice if it had like something come up like you were saying, and you had to like attack it, and you don't kill the Sarlacc, but maybe it like retreats so you can get close enough to get the poison.
Yeah.
Throw a little something in, you know, make the mission worth something. I don't know. Anything else that stick out in your guys' mind with this?
There's just a. Well, go ahead.
No, go ahead, Flip. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say I liked some of the weird things that they put on, like the banner on Dothmere at that certain location is no longer gonna be floating in the air, or the stormtrooper that was stuck in the wall in Theed has been removed. And the one I think was my favorite that I just kind of left me kind of hanging there was characters will no longer look in a random direction when leaving combat. My first thought was, how many people actually put that in as a bug? I'm like, I never have ever looked at my character, you know, kind of stared at it and thought, is he going to look in another direction after combat is just finished? But maybe it was just something that they were doing. You mentioned something earlier, Darth.
Yeah, I was just saying that, that's like exactly the kind of thing that I was figuring that somebody fixed that just because they happened to be in that area and noticed it was wrong. And I suppose if you're in there, if they're working on aiming and targeting like they have been, then they've got a whole squad of guys who have been, coding that, whatever, 8, 10, 12 hours a day for the last little while, noticing that every single time they stop combat, they fire their last shot, and then their head snaps to the right and snaps back. And eventually somebody goes, what the hell causes that? Or why does that happen? And, it never really bothered me. I just notice it, and
yeah.
especially now I've noticed it more looking back now that they've posted that they're going to fix it. So.
I like to think that my guy's just checking out to make sure the chicks are watching and after he gets
That's
done whacking someone. Like
exactly. It's like, hey, did you catch that? All right. All right. Did I look good?
Let me pose for you real quick and
gotta flex.
Yeah. There are a couple others that I saw in here. There's back up on around player cities. Characters must now be at least 7 days old to vote in city elections, and fixed an issue where you could not grant zoning rights out inside a city hall or other structure. That's cool because, player cities haven't really gotten a whole lot of attention over the last, 2.5 years.
Yeah. It's like they put them out there and it's like, okay, live with it.
Yeah. So it's good seeing some of that stuff get tightened up a little bit.
All right, let's wrap that up and move on to the news section. News and rumors.
Oh wait, there's one more that's really important. Was that you can now move stuff up and down inside your YT2400.
Awesome.
They've been complaining about that since 9 months, I guess. So.
Now they fixed it. Hopefully,
yeah,
it goes through live. All that stuff's on Test Center. We can't guarantee it'll be live. So anything we said that sounds cool and it doesn't make it, don't blame us.
One more.
Okay.
They reduced the volume on the level up noise.
Was that an issue?
Dude, have you ever been around the blue frogs on Test Center when someone's making a new character?
Okay, yeah, it's a bit of a mess.
It's like a TIE fighter sound, isn't it?
Well, if they're gonna go ahead and fix that, they should fix it to where whenever you enter in through a shuttle port or a star port, you see that little level up once you enter in.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so close, but no cigar.
Okay. Now we can move on to news and rumors, right?
Sure.
Okay, let's start with the Rogue 5 interview with Stratics. Darth, you picked out some good stuff from this interview.
Yeah, sure. Okay, so there's going to be a structure purge. Be afraid. And
you don't think it's going to go smoothly?
I don't know. Well, they've been talking about this since I was in Austin back in November. So it's something that they know they need to do. It's just this is one of the things that I guess they're really paranoid about making sure they do it right. Which I tip my hat to that. So because realistically, that's not the kind of thing that you can screw up or even try to get by with a 90% success rate.
I wonder if that would help the lag issues if they cleaned up the databases somewhat.
Yeah, well, that's one of the things they were talking about. That is they were at the time they were still debating how many characters per server you were going to get, and one of the things that was driving that decision was database clutter and the structure purge being chief among them. So we'll see. A lot of that kind of depends also on what they got going on with the, I don't know what they're doing with the trader revamp and how they're going to handle, factories and, harvesters too. So, a lot of assignment and sharing admin and folks being admin on structures that are owned by players that haven't been in the game in, N months or whatever.
I really hope when it comes to the trader revamp, they don't base a decision on it, because there has been some talk about possibly removing harvesters from the game and, finding I don't know how they've talked about replacing harvesters, but I hope that's not like a deciding factor, like, well, this will help clean up the databases. I hope, like, if they choose to do that, it's more for, hey, this will improve gameplay issues.
Yeah, that's right. If it's geared towards, sound design and gameplay, then that's one thing. If just saying it's going to clear up our database, that's
weak.
Yeah. Yeah, so evidently smugglers are going to smuggle.
Yeah, right.
That's what they say.
We'll see. We'll see when it goes live.
Cloak is for spies.
That makes Jedi happy.
Yeah. They're happy to hear that they're the Swiss Army knife, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was kind of wondering.
Jack of all trades, master of none. No, I want to be master of everything. I'm a Jedi.
I should be able to do everything.
I spent points. I had a grind. I should be the master of everything.
Yeah, you get an elder robe and you can be a blue glowy.
Yeah, exactly. But they're getting 5th generation glow bats.
That will make them happy.
I suppose that's good. I don't know.
We'll see.
No plans for creature handler returning.
Yeah, let them get the expertise systems for the professions that are currently out there before we start calling for creature handler coming back. What's the point of them adding a 10th profession?
Well, I certainly hope that when they're putting in these expertise systems, that they're designing them to be modular enough that, say, for example, they wanted to put in a creature handler expertise tree for some combination of professions, that would be the kind of thing that they haven't painted themselves into a corner saying, well, the expertise system's so complicated that we can't modify it.
But didn't we hear that with the UI?
Well,
Yeah.
We can't do a double toolbar.
Well, when they're asking for ideas in the trader or the crafter section for the expertise, I put my little thoughts in there, and just so, and it was basically, expertise would be, maybe three steps or something like that, and they would bring back a slight portion of bioengineer where you could sample for the DNA. And the next step would be making a mount strap, and basically you're just making a mount. Not bringing back creature handlers, but just, because a lot of people want the mounts to be able to ride,
Yeah, sure.
So, you got the DNA part of it, then you got making the mount strap, then you actually bring the two together. And there's your reverse engineering, in a way, for that type.
I wonder why they don't go, put it into an expertise where you can do, some creature handling where you're not actually creating pets that can attack, but you can do more, for training mounts. You can go out there, you can find a baby, but didn't they remove babies from the game?
They remove babies, yes.
Oh, yeah, but they could put them back in, couldn't they?
They've
demonstrated that they can, give back what they've taken away. So.
Regift.
I mentioned, I think it was last week or the week before, it's a baby Zuka I have, and it's level 8, and it still says baby Zuka.
Look at you go, kid.
Yeah.
Yes.
See, so he also says that there's profession-specific quests coming. There were supposed to be some already, but I guess those got pushed back.
At least they mentioned that those were going to get pushed back. They still haven't told us anything that's going on with the friggin' collision detection system. And I've tried to get an answer on that, and no one's responding.
As have I. That's a running joke in the Senate right now. It's me trying to get an answer on that.
It's like, just come out and tell us. Is it delayed? Is it,
The fact that they won't even say no comment is... whatever.
That's a good way to get Rogue 5 to ignore my emails. If I ask anything about collision detection, I know it's not getting answered at that point.
Yeah, I understand it's complicated.
Right. What's so bad about coming out and just saying, hey, it's really difficult. We're going to wait till we get it done right. Hey, it's too difficult. We'd rather not spend the time on it. Hey,
or maybe they just got some stuff that they want to get nailed down first and then go back and screw with it,
Right.
I understand.
Give
Priorities
us
shift.
something, damn it.
Exactly. And then gunboats are still in the pipeline, but they can't say when. Anyway, that's cool. Yeah, gunboats will be fun.
It'll be part of an expansion.
Nah, man, they have to one of the publishers that's like, I don't know, been pushed back to January or whatever, is supposed to deal with the Galactic Civil War, right?
I thought there was one coming up soon.
I don't know.
Yeah, I'm kind of all.
Yeah, well, there was originally a plan. I don't know what the new one is.
I've looked at it, but I just stick with Chapter 3 right now.
Yeah.
When Chapter 3 rolls out, we'll be happy. Did you notice anything in this you want to talk about, Flip, in this interview?
No, not really particular.
Okay. You had mentioned something about spies being for cloak being for spies, and I've been thinking about like Smuggler and what I'd like to see out of Smuggler, and the more I think about it, it's almost like the spy profession is something that Smuggler they're almost like a profession that could have been like put together, and I'm not trying to tell them to get rid of a profession, but it seems like a lot of stuff that the spy could do is something a smuggler should be able to do, and I don't know. I'm just rambling here.
Yeah, well, that leads into the next topic with, Hans on the whole smuggling expertise system.
Oh man, he's been going crazy.
Yeah, boy, I hope he doesn't get himself in trouble.
We were talking about this before the show, and you know what, people? If you like the way Hans is talking, if something changes, because he's thrown a lot of stuff out there that, in his current build for the smuggler expertise system, if something gets changed, because this is all subject to approval, don't call him a liar, don't call him out, don't say, well, you promised this, you promised that. He's throwing stuff out there so you could see what they would like to do. And someone's going to do it to him, and I have a feeling he was sitting down with, like, Helios and Rogue 5, and he's like, yeah, you know what, I'm going to kind of give them a preview of what's going on. And they're like, I wouldn't do that if I were you. He's like, oh, no, the people will understand if something changes, and they're like, okay.
Nah.
Or maybe it's like his initiation. It's like, hey, Hans, why don't you go out there and let them know what they have to preview before it's approved.
Yeah, we were calling that dev hazing.
Wink, wink.
Here's the new guy. Tell him to go on the forums. Yeah, tell him smugglers are gonna smuggle. Yeah, that'll be a good one.
Well, I like the way he worded a lot of things. Like somebody asked if they're going to get weapon slicing back, and he says weapon slicing is not an expertise. The expertise modifies your weapons enough so you don't need it. Smugglers are not getting crafting abilities. And somebody said, there's nice wording there, and how before you said smuggling is not in the expertise. It might be in the system. The smuggling system.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about some of the things that he threw out there. Some of the points that I pulled out were smugglers are gunslingers and/or melee. Smugglers can get very lucky. Smugglers can crowd control. They can combo to do massive amounts of damage. And there's a few things he won't give away yet, but I think that he goes on to give away the stuff. But smugglers will not make spice.
And they haven't determined yet who will make spice.
Yeah, they still left it up in the air so that it might be something down the road.
Give it to chefs. Chefs can make, about 3 things that are worthwhile?
Seems like everything that was good before is bad, and everything that was bad before, way before, is now good.
Yeah. Someone asked, after peer reviews and such, does he have any idea when they'll be able to preview the trees like Bounty Hunter and Jedi did? Said probably not for 2 weeks minimum. So we have to wait.
Yeah,
at least 2 weeks to find, and that's good. Put innate armor into the tree. It's not insane, but it does stack with armor, is not overridden by armor. And I'm surprised, are there any Jedis moaning about that?
Oh, yeah.
Because no,
there are folks in the Smuggler forum saying that the Jedi are going to moan about it. I haven't heard any Jedi whining on that particular topic yet.
Oh, they will. Come on.
I'm sure.
Innate armor?
Well, they're
Smugglers?
Jedi. They should have that.
The debuff is a new attack you can purchase in a tree. It's actual multiple debuffs if you buy further into the tree. So I think the smuggler will be handy to have in a group to kind of weaken opponents for you.
Yeah, that saber block that you just mentioned. Actually, it was said that if you saber block a disarm shot, the disarm shot will fail. Smugglers will have that disadvantage versus a Jedi.
There's a new combo buff that lets you get a guaranteed critical attack. A second buff that lets you get double damage if you critical attack. There's also an ability that lets you get critical attacks for 10 seconds. All subject to change, of course, for a DPS balance. And the first two buffs work with pistols and melee weapons. So it'll be nice to see like melee specific attacks again.
Yeah, Well, yeah, because there was, I mean, unless you were like in the old system, triple master, smuggler, pistolier, TKA, you never really saw a whole lot of use of the dirty fighting melee line or whatever it was in smuggler.
Right.
That's cool. Good to see they're going back to the roots of that. Having them be a street fighter or something of sorts.
So he says he's finished designing the trees. He's documented new sets of melee attacks, preliminary melee command names, before peer review, brawler swipe, pin down, dirty trick, precision strike, dizzy, crush dot, bad odds dot, extra melee dot that pistol only smugglers do not get. Pistol smugglers get a disarm called break the deal. And done some of the damage pass stuff's going out to the art department. I'm kind of worried about the dizzy. I hope it doesn't turn into like a dizzy knockdown thing. I don't want to see that make a comeback, but I don't know. He's out there throwing out information, and
can't fault that.
It'll be nice to see how this all kind of comes together.
Yeah, I hope he's able to deliver, half of what he's talked about. It looks promising.
Yeah. They told him to put it out there, and then they knew they're going to pull stuff out just to F with them. Okay, well, let's get into the officer expertise.
Yeah.
Darth, this is you.
Yeah, sure. So I guess evidently we're in the pipeline right along there with smugglers, although you couldn't tell from reading the dev tracker. So I guess they're soliciting responses anyway. So the officer community has rallied together and put up a whole good list of stuff. Some of it. A lot of it gears around, we'd like you to give back some of the stuff you gave us in Publish 24 and took away with Publish 25. And stuff like, we want back sys group, which was the function where a squad leader could send system messages to his group. Stuff like rally point would be cool. And some expansion and enhancement of our buffing abilities. We have one debuff, target debuff, which sucks now, and we have one group buff, which kind of sucks now. So moving on to the topic of having a defined role, if our role is to be the group enhancer, then we'd like some better buffs to go along with that.
Yeah, with
right.
Oh, I was just going to say with what they've shown for Smuggler, I mean, it looks like they're going to be the debuffer, so they're really going to have to beef you guys up to kind of overtake that.
Well, that's the other thing, because right now the best group buff in the game is a Jedi expertise buff. So, so the Jedi right now are the best group enhancers, and it looks like Smuggler's going towards the target debuffer, so they'll have to, I guess, define a role for us. See, right now, we're sort of a ranged nuker class, we got some high damage single shot stuff. We've got some AoE artillery oriented type stuff, although not as versatile as say Commando. And then we have the group enhancing stuff. So I guess they'll have to figure out exactly where it is we fit in the whole combat diagram, and let us know. And that brings up the argument of whether or not as an officer we're supposed to be like a General Patton type character, or whether we're still the equivalent of the fantasy bard class. So,
what about talk of, I don't know if this has been officially brought up or if it's just people that have thrown out ideas, but of making it so officers can pull together to make larger groups, so they could bring together like 2 8-man groups to make a 16-man group, or
Right, yeah, so either making the officer groups larger or the ability to link groups. That's something that we've been asking for since they limited group size. Being able to, so link up. There's talk of, having some kind of expertise at, from +1 to +4 group members, so you can have up to a 12-man group if you're an officer. There's talk of perhaps, linking groups to make a platoon, maybe, 2 to 5 groups linked together, so you could have a 40-man group for coordinated PvP. I don't know. That certainly things that, if there was anything in the game that required a 40-man group to go after, that'd be cool. Anyway, so yeah, things like that, the sort of logistical and planning type things that would, let folks coordinate, PvP and PvE combat between groups would be great. There's talks of, we're supposed to have some kind of integration with the Galactic Civil War, and our respective factions. It's eventually they're going to have to address the part where any bounty hunter can become a rebel colonel or whatever, and that you can be an officer and still only be a lance corporal in terms of faction rank. It seems to me at some point it's going to make sense to tie rank or rank related faction benefits to make at least some part of that exclusive to officers.
it'd almost be funny for an officer is if they could, going back to the linking groups, if they could link, say, like 4 groups together, then all of a sudden they have like this map on their screen and they're going to stay back from the battle. They're going to be like at a main base, but they could see everything. It's almost like an RTS where they could like click on a group and tell a group to attack like a certain area, and like a system message pops up to everyone in that group and they could go in and attack. And
yeah, well, it kind of ties into something we've also been asking for the last couple of years is some kind of integrated fire control, like an overhead map with like a John Madden light pen type thing going on it, where like the officer could hang back and just be like a logistics and fire control kind of guy, where he has a radar screen that has the terrain and the structure map on it, and you could designate units and then designate a waypoint for that unit, and not playing Puppet Master, but then the unit on the ground then has the option of following those instructions and moving towards the objective, that kind of thing. But that's an entire sub game, and it would be really cool. And it's a lot of pie in the sky type stuff, but there's a lot of work that could be done along those lines.
They can just code Empire at War over SWG for that.
Yeah, sure.
So what you do, you click on a button and you go into Empire at War and you're just going in and dragging and dropping soldiers.
Sure. Why not?
Yeah. Piece of cake.
Yeah. They're talking about, originally there was talk about the officer expertise publish was going to be the same publish as one of the GCW publishes, and they were going to be giving us like forward bases and manable mortars and E-web cannons or something to that effect, to be used in the GCW battles. I don't know whether that plays into static bases or not, and I have no idea if any of that's even still on the table because it's been pulled from the publish list. So, there's talk about turning us into some kind of a NPC creature handler by giving us, the ability to call in faction troops or call in, reinforcements and stuff like that. So, there's all kinds of really good ideas out there floating around. I'm sure eventually a dev will have to pipe up and let us know what their vision is for the profession.
Maybe now that they got the smuggler out there, that while that's going through the review, if Hans is working on Officer, he can go through and start doing what he needs to do and getting you guys more information.
Yeah, sure.
Can only hope. Flip, you have anything about Officer? Do you even care about Officer?
I don't really care. I was hoping Garth would fill in everybody. So
he took care of it pretty good. We'll just have to wait and see what they give you, and then when they start giving us more information, then we'll get you back on the show so we can start dissecting it.
Sure. But yeah. What? Not to cut you off, but it would be nice to have all the squad leaders that got really pissed off the week after they upgrade them, and then the NGE hit to have some of those moves and stuff like that implemented.
Yeah, that would be great. If that's the route they're going, if they want us to be the group enhancer, and then if that's what our intended role is, then yeah, let us be really, really good at that. And if they had some kind of, GCW faction tie-in, where we have to be in charge of logistics and planning, and procurement for, various faction items, we'd like to be able to wear rank on our chests, and have some kind of distinctive armor. Like, squad leaders were one of the professions that were allowed to wear Mandalorian in the combat upgrade. We lost that in the NGE, so we would like to have, if we can't have Mando, well, give us something else that's distinctive and perhaps faction-based. They may even make it quest-based, so whatever. That'd be great.
We just play the wait-and-see game at this point.
Well, that's where we're at. But the ideas are out there.
Just really kind of on an off note, real quick, I won't make it long. I was kind of doing a respect, and I did it, respect officer real quick. I wanted to check it out. It might have been a week ago. And I was at Mos Eisley in the vicinity of like levels, I don't know, 3 through 5 maybe, creatures. And I wanted to try that, what is it called, where you have the, fighters go overhead and they shoot down something at you, at your enemy. Whatever that move's called. And I was just killing creatures level 5. I thought that was hilarious because, you have a whole bunch of sand or whatever, explosions. I thought that was great.
Yeah.
Did it make you happy?
It did, because I wanted to try that because I've seen so many other people that are of the officer profession doing that, and I thought that was pretty cool, so I wanted to kill a whole bunch of level 5s doing that.
Yeah, that's really fun using our AoEs out there.
Yeah.
Blowing up level 5 NPCs.
You got to be able to kill something.
Sure.
Well, now we get into the rumor section of this week, and Darth, this is you again. You're providing me with tons of information this week. You kind of know the lowdown on what's happening with everything. So
yeah, it was an interesting week in rumor control. Evidently, our own Isel over on the F13 forums posted that she'd had some kind of conversation with the emulator crew, and then the Razor Wire at Warcry picked that up and ran it as their rumor of the week or something to that effect. And evidently that triggers an alleged email response from SMED back to Razor, where SMED outlines what, SOE's position was on the emulator and the rumors surrounding the recent alleged meeting that LucasArts legal folks had with the emulator guys, and that, reiterating that, if Smedley allegedly says, that, in his email to Razor that, he is asked his, SOE's general counsel, and I forget the guy's name, specifically to, encourage LucasArts to, be as polite and nice and friendly as possible with the emulator crew. And then he reiterates that if what they're working on is any good, there's a standing job offer for them. So that's interesting. I have, of course, no confirmation that it was actually SMED that wrote that. There were some screenshots of some guy's Gmail account circulating around alleging that to be from SMED. And I know SMED answers his own email because I've had exchanges with him myself, which I think is kind of interesting for, somebody in his position. And every now and again he'll, drink too much Red Bull and go on a tear.
Once a year he hops on the forums, doubles his post count.
Sure. So that's cool. Yeah, and so it was interesting watching that unfold because it all fans all the flames of, what was it that was said in that meeting, assuming that it actually occurred.
Well,
and, what?
The meeting did occur. I've talked to people. I'm sure. They have, members of the EMU team, and they're like, yes, there was a meeting. It's all private, but there was a meeting that took place.
Right. So then this guy, Darth Maul UK, who's an admin on swggalaxies.net, who is associated with lucasfiles.net or lucasforums.net or something, some officially sponsored LucasArts mod, community program, posts up something on his site saying that they're going to be posting a statement about the emulator shortly, saying that LucasArts has brought that to their attention and that they're going to go ahead and be hosting the emulator via the LFN network through lucasfiles.com, and that there's going to be a statement shortly, and they're just waiting for LucasArts Legal to get in touch with the whatever the fine print text is that they have to use. And then he goes on to say that overall he thinks that the actual finished product is a year or so away. And then the emulator guys went bananas. So who knows? And all that stuff's since been retracted and said, oh, it's just a miscommunication. We misunderstood. Whatever. And I'm sure it was a miscommunication, and I'm sure there was some misunderstanding, because evidently, so there, there was a meeting between Lucas and the emulator guys, and then perhaps LucasArts turns around and tells the Lucas Files network that, we're going to go ahead and be hosting this thing on our own community, LucasArts sponsored community network, and maybe not. We'll see, because the emulator guys aren't confirming that at all. They're sort of in a no comment type position, which I understand too. But what that did was that in turn fueled this completely unrelated rumor that, oh my God, LucasArts is going to host classic servers and SOE is going to be removed from the equation. And I'm not exactly sure where that came from. I don't see that necessarily happening either. But it's been a good week for the fanning the flames of rumor.
Well, did you guys see the shirts that the SWG EMU team is selling now?
Nah, what did it say? Well,
on the front it has like SWG EMU, and on the back it says "We fixed what someone broke," and like in someone there's an S and an O and an E in like big red letters.
That's funny.
Nice.
I got a kick out of that. It's I think what this really points to is that it looks like there's some underlying tension between LucasArts and SOE, and I don't know for sure, but all signs point towards maybe there's something not quite happy in the relationship. It's like Nick and Jessica before they decided to tell everyone that they're divorced. Oh no, everything's great, everything is great, and you have everyone else like they hate each other. Yeah, I have no idea what's going on. It'll just be at least it looks like it's going to be okay to play this if you're not charging money for it, if you're on a server where it's just like someone hosting it for free. It's looking like it's going to be okay for you to play it. Who knows how long it's going to take to get this thing out, but I always had a theory, because there was talk after their meeting that supposedly like SOE was providing them with information, or LucasArts was providing them with information. And the way I looked at it was, if like we turn around like a couple weeks from now and all of a sudden they're like, hey, we got the thing completely done, that tells me that there was some outside help from one of the companies. If this like kind of takes a while and it drags out and they get like little bits by little bits, then I don't think there's any help going on. But
there's certainly more going on than anyone's willing to fess up to.
Right. It'll be so nice, like, I don't know, 10 years from now when everyone writes books about this.
Sure.
That's what this is.
And books will be written.
Oh, I know. A book could be written on a post removed from Jay Freeman's blog. He had that nice blog this week that was basically like, I didn't have anything to do with the building of the NGE, but he really didn't say that he didn't have anything to do with the building of the NGE, and quite interesting.
Yeah.
It's almost like what goes on behind the scenes is almost like a game in and of itself.
Oh, sure.
Oh, let's see. See what else we have. We're running really long, so we're going to have to start working on wrapping up the show. But online adventure short film contest, they're still running that. I'd like to see. I'll put a thread in the TGR boards. Anyone who's put anything out there for the short film contest that SOE is having right now, which if you win, you get a copy of the Star Wars Galaxies Complete with the ATPT. Is that what it's called?
Sure.
That vehicle. And if you win, you get a copy of that, and your short film will be on the actual DVD that's a part of that. So that's kind of cool, but I'm going to put a post on the TGR board. So if anyone wants to share something that they've submitted, so we can check it out and see what's going on. I don't know if SOE plans on releasing those, afterwards so everyone can check them out. But if you feel like doing that, I'll put a thread up. And I was talking to someone at SOE about this short film contest, and I guess there's some problems. Make sure if you're going to do something, like if you're going to create a little short film to send in, read the rules, because they said they've had a lot of good stuff coming in that they've had to disqualify because they haven't followed the rules. And I know there's like a time frame, it has to be like a certain length, and you can't use copyrighted music in it. So I'll put a link into the show notes. Make sure you check out, read the official what we can and can't do before you submit the film. That way, you're not wasting your time, you're not wasting anyone else's. And if you do something good, hell, you might win. I think that'd be really cool to win and actually have your short film on a DVD, something officially released. Are we doing anything, Flip, for this?
What's that?
Are we doing anything for the short film contest?
I wasn't planning on it.
Oh, fine, be that way.
Well, do you have your camera ready?
I have frats. They don't want us actually acting stuff out. They want like in-game stuff.
Hey, so can you get rid of the crosshairs? Is that something that kind of just lingers there?
I don't know.
Now?
I've never tried.
Okay.
We'll find that out for next week.
All right, sounds good.
What do you mean the crosshairs in game, right?
Yeah, the in-game
crosshair. The real life crosshairs we all see, Flip.
Yeah, exactly. No,
I knew it wasn't just in my vision.
The bullseye printed on my retina.
No, I have my key mapping where if I hit Alt, I go to the arrow key, and when it takes the crosshairs out.
Well, yeah, but if you're alted into cursor mode, then your movement gets all silly.
Yeah, it does. You have to be good at it.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. It makes it difficult to choreograph a movie, I'm guessing.
All right, let's get through our miscellaneous stuff we have for this week. Friday feature, Flip, you take over, Genetic Potential. Tell us about it.
Genetic Potential. That was the end trail of the Legacy Quest that they just gave us. And it was a story about the spiders. I made a comment last week about how I was kind of sick of them, and that was just their story explaining how the spiders got on the planet, why you had to fight them, and the data pads and stuff like that. It was interesting, I liked it. It was a good read. And then of course I go to the rest of the Friday feature stuff. We had a puzzler winner, Lunatic Fringe. It was on Derek Talus. And the Galactic Tales winner, the most recent, I believe they do that every 2 weeks, so the most recent winner was from July 26th, and that was Belfair. The player spotlight, August 11th, was Naomi Ifila. They play on Kiri and Celia. And then the Friday feature, Scramble Unscrambled. There was a big debate, a lot of whining and crying about this because of 3 little periods, and I couldn't believe that much went on. But anyways, I kind of think the quote that's being said has nothing to do with 3 periods. Who cares? They can get rid of the punctuation. That's not really the quote, in my opinion. Anyways, but the Scramble Unscrambled for the Friday feature was this line that Han Solo said, "In a New Hope. What an incredible smell you've discovered. Let's get out of here. Get away from there."
That was the whole thing?
Yep. Little lines.
They have to make it longer, because I want to hear you do longer skits.
Well, like what Garmin said a while ago, Garba should post something that's obscenely long just to confuse and mess them up.
That'd always be fun.
I get on board with that.
Okay, let's see. We have poll question of the week. Our question from last week's show was, do you like Chapter 2? 78.1...
I hated it.
78.18% of the people liked it. 21.82% didn't like it. You really hated it?
No, you saw your post in the general gameplay forum.
I don't know. I kind of half looked at it.
I said I'd give a shot at a negative or contrary opinion, and somebody said do it, and so I did. I made up a fake rebuttal.
Well, I got a kick out of the people who talk about the whole regifting thing, and to me the regifting is when a chapter comes out and there's nothing that you can find in there that you don't like, so you just have to be like, hey, they regifted. It's like, what the hell did they regift this time? Okay, the expertise system. that's totally new. Maybe they use some names, some similar type moves, but I wouldn't consider the expertise system a regift. And why would you complain about it? It's friggin' awesome. It makes the game fun again. If you're a bounty hunter or a Jedi, if you're one of the other professions, okay, I can see you being a little bit peeved. Friggin' respect for a week, for a month and a half, or 2 months until your profession gets done. I mean, it's a lot of fun. The Static Galactic Civil War bases, we didn't have anything like these bases before. I mean, okay, you had the ones where everyone had to go to, but this is more fun. You have the PvP areas, you're going in. I would consider it more a retool, but someone asked me, what's your problem with calling it a regift? It's because a regift is like a smack in the face at the devs. It's like when you have nothing else, I'm calling it a regift.
Yeah, that's what you were arguing. I got the post pulled up right now in the episode 47 announcement on the official boards, and you were arguing with Fisher Magi. You're saying that you're tired of this regifting crap, and then he goes on and counters you, and then there's the post after that is, I too tire of the regifting nonsense. As a good faith counter to this most despicable trend, they should remove all of the Jedi from the game and promise to never ever give them back.
Oh man.
That's beautiful. Anyway.
Here's some of the feedback that we had on the TGR boards. E-Kick, or however you pronounce the name, SOE really seems to be on the right track lately. I wish peeps would come back and see all the changes that are for the better, not worse. Someone had emailed me about, it's like, hey, do you think, someone should come back for this? It's like, well, you know what? If you're willing to play a bounty hunter or a Jedi, come on back and check it out. If you're not, I would wait. If you're intent on being a medic, there's no point in coming, and you left because you didn't like it, there's no point in coming back to be horrifically outmanned by a bounty hunter or Jedi right now. But Catherine mentioned, generally, I think the chapter is in a step in the right direction, lets players have hope that the game could be fun again. I think there's no high-end content left in the game that would actually require a full group. And goes on to talk about how it's kind of, and I brought this up last week, that, they had done the revamp, they kind of tweaked the AI, and there were, some of the higher-end content, a level 90 was difficult again, and now it's a cakewalk if you're a bounty hunter. And, I don't know about a Jedi, but Flip, do you have an easy time with Jedi, or?
It's a lot easier.
Yeah. So I think that's definitely something.
It's all about the heals. That's what makes it easy.
And with bounty hunting, I just sit there and just mow through them with damage. And I keep them snared.
I get my ass kicked a lot as an officer.
Arquette says, personally, I think there's a large problem with the introduction of more and more PvP content. I was kind of worried about the direction with PvP.
Okay, fine. So, no PvP content for 3 years, and now that there's some, that's bad because of the direction the game's going with it?
Well, they were kind of worried that, the PvP content really does nothing for a level 50. If you're level 50, the PvP means nothing to you. And
PvP is the end game.
Right. Well, I was wondering, why couldn't they set up and here's a rip-off of WoW, level areas where maybe they'll do this when they bring back what am I thinking of, battlefields, but make it so okay, between, this battlefield, you go to it and you have to be between 30 and 50. This one 50 and 70, this one 70 to 90. And, split it up a little bit so the lower levels have a chance at PvP instead of being part of a large group and maybe hanging around back and getting a free kill here and there.
That's reasonable.
So maybe that's something to throw into. And we kind of bounced around some ideas too with, some people were unhappy with, the static bases and, thought that they were a little too easier and that maybe it should have been more, with cities. And I threw the idea out there. Maybe they should do something with cities, similar to what the static bases are. So say you battle over Coronet and you have NPCs and there's terminals that you have to take over within the city and, maybe have some elites around it. So it's a little more difficult. So you can't just cakewalk in there and get it if no one's around. But, once you take over the city, that could open up a shop area where crafters could come in and maybe there could be some crafter only content that would be similar to, the buff bonuses you get from the static bases now that you can get from the recruiter, but these could be something that crafters could create and put for sale up there, and they would only be up for sale while they had control of the city. And I didn't flesh out the whole idea. I just kind of threw it out there.
Or maybe it would be something that an officer could requisition.
That would be interesting too.
I'm just saying.
Someone threw out there too that they would like to see maybe like with Restus where crafters could be brought in to construct, like if the rebels had control of it, the rebels could bring in crafters who could work on constructing the shuttle port. So when they get that done, rebels could then shuttle in more rebels easier than having to, start at the base and have them come in. And of course, those would easily be destroyed, or not easily, but there would be a way to destroy them for the Imperials. So the Imperials could take over, bring in their guys and build up certain areas. Let's see. The moans about, Penny said the moans about balance aren't really relevant. To be honest, as a lot of the PvP side of things come from player skill more than the template. I somewhat agree. Jedi and bounty hunters do have an advantage now, but
sure.
He also says that he's seen commandos owning, both Jedi and bounty hunters. So it does come down that you are going to have your people who are the other professions who are just friggin' awesome, and they're going to be cocks, but they're going to be awesome at PvP, and they're going to be able to take out a bounty hunter, even though they have the expertise system.
Yeah.
But couldn't the devs make some more NPCs attack the static bases? And that would be nice to see, and maybe with this fix at Restus, they will be able to bring in, be able to bring in drop ships, drop off some, just to spice it up a little bit.
Sure.
That'd be nice to see in the future. So, it's kind of where the poll went, this week. You guys have anything you want to throw in with that, or Chapter 2, do you like or not?
As a guy, but yes for it.
Okay. I didn't vote.
Yeah, I gave it a thumbs up.
Awesome.
Despite my fake rant on the forums.
You did enjoy it. Okay, so that rolls us into this week's poll question. We're kind of struggling for something. Flip came up with this just before the show, and maybe it's a little bit early, but with Chapter 3 coming up in the next, probably within the next month, it'll be on Test Center. Are you going to respec to Officer or Smuggler when Chapter 3 comes? So that'll be interesting to see, yes or no, and why you would do that. Maybe throw out some ideas to Smuggler or Officer. What would make you want to switch and try out that profession? So we'll throw that out there this week, and I'll get that poll up soon. We'll get a thread up on the forums. So then that just
that poll out there.
Oh yeah, you know it. So that just leaves us with a trivia question, which I think we're going to have to skip this week. I really didn't have anything set up for it. I tried to think of a question, but I couldn't come up with anything. But just want to let you guys know I did get in a shipment of shirts from StarWarsShop.com, and they hooked me up with an amazing selection of different shirts. I'm going to get pictures of them up on the website, so you can check those out. And that's what we're going to be having trivia contests for. So kind of cool, cool official Star Wars shirts. There's one with the TIE fighter that says "Chicks dig my sweet ride." Fun stuff like that. So I'll get pictures of that up, and next week we'll have a trivia question to go for that. And I guess I should work on wrapping up the show, shouldn't I? Did we cover everything?
Yeah.
Did anybody else have anything else they want to talk about?
Nah, that's about
I
it.
don't think so.
Awesome. So I'll work on wrapping that up. Donations, we're always looking for those. We're starting to run out of time for gathering donations to keep the live show going. We're good through the 1st of September. After that, the live feed will be dead unless we get donations rolling in. It's a little pricey for us to keep it going, so I can't fund that on my own. If you'd like, you can donate $2 recurring subscription, or you can donate any amount that you see fit. The buttons are right on the website. I also have TGR merchandise up now. If you'd rather donate, through buying something, check that out. I have shirts, different kinds, kind of mess around. The prices look a little high, but really I didn't mark them up much. That's kind of what Cafe Press charges. So I just had to bump it up a little bit so we got something out of the deal. Coffee mugs, mouse pads, stuff like that. So you can check that out. There's a link on I have a couple pictures on the website, and a link to the actual Galaxy Report Cafe Press store. So look at that. If you have questions for us or, ideas for show topics, you can email us at thegalaxyreport@yahoo.com. And I also have the quick little link on the website, so you can click on that. Tell us your ideas for segments. Eventually, I'd like to get a little more in-depth with Smuggler when we get a little more information on that. And maybe we can get Wes Belden on here again, talk about that. We've had him on before. I feel like I'm missing something, guys. What am I missing? This is where I need your help.
You covered pretty much everything.
Sweet.
I think you're just too wide awake.
I think I am. My Pepsi finally kicked in, so I'm wired. I'm ready. Let's make this a 3-hour show this week. I talked about last week, not having a lot of time to play the game because my girlfriend's been trying to like bust her ass and finish up. She was trying to pass a class, and I just want to let everyone know she took her final. She did pass her class, so congratulations to her. She's continuing on with the nursing program, and I should.
Well, do you want to get a call in besides what you're talking about? Sorry.
No, not this week. We're already running long, so.
Okay.
All right.
So I think that just about wraps it up. Sushi, thank you for co-hosting this week.
Anytime.
As soon as we get more information on Officer, you're of course going to be back, and you have no choice on that. Flip, as always, you're a wonderful co-host. Glad to have you here. And thanks to Dukas for taking over in the chat room. And he sent me some questions. We'll go ahead and take care of those in the after show. So I think that just about wraps it up, and we'll see you all next week.